What's up, you guys? This is Vincanity, and for those who follow me on social media, this past month I've really been trying to share documentaries and books and articles and different learning materials that you guys can use to learn more about the history of hip-hop and the history of break. Now, I realize that a lot of dancers have been learning online for a very long time and may not have the same resources that some of us had when we were younger. When I was younger, the way I learned history was actually talking to people. I would go to jams, I would meet people, I would find people that, were around before my time and talk to them and learn their history, learn their story, and kind of gain their perspective about hip hop culture. I also used to watch a lot of interviews and documentaries that would discuss some of the origins of hip hop and discuss, some of the stories that really make this culture beautiful. Now, I realize that not everybody has had that same drive. A lot of people, they see a windmill, they want to learn a windmill, but they don't necessarily want to learn, where that windmill comes from. So I wanted to take a step back, and I want you guys to also take a step back and really focus this next month, this next couple years on learning some of the history, learning about some of the origins of hip hop, and really understand what the meaning of hip hop is. Now, I know there's a lot of information out there, but I wanted to share with you guys 5 documentaries that I think will help kickstart your learning journey in hip hop. The first documentary I want to share with you guys is called The Story of Funk, One Nation Under a Groove. And this basically is what it is. It gives you the history of funk music, starting with the civil rights movement, moving into people like James Brown, Tower of Power, all the way to artists like Earth, Wind & Fire and the Commodores. I did not watch this documentary until recently, and I absolutely loved it. It really helped me understand the music that we dance to a little more. And when you understand the music more, it's gonna help you understand the dance more. So I highly recommend you guys starting with this documentary because it almost gives you a background of hip hop before hip hop started. Second documentary I want to share with you guys is on that same train of thought, and it is actually the Soul Train documentary. This is the documentary, I believe it was on PBS, and it's many episodes. I actually watched this documentary when I was younger, but I rewatched it recently, and I think it took me about an hour and a half to complete all the episodes. If you guys don't know what Soul Train is, it was a show that showcased music and dancing and culture. And if you guys watch it, you'll actually see a lot of hip hop dance forms being showcased in it, like locking, popping, and even breaking. And for a lot of dancers, including myself, this actually exposed a lot of dancers to the dancing, to the music, to the culture. Check it out and let me know what you guys think. Now, the next documentary I want to share with you guys was shown on PBS. It's called A Decade of Fire. A Decade of Fire basically showcases what the Bronx was like in the early 70s, even late 60s, and showcases some of the struggles that the Bronx was going through during this time. A lot of times when we hear about the history of hip hop, we hear that there was problems in the Bronx, there were struggles, but a lot of people don't know what those struggles were. A lot of people don't really fully understand, some of the troubles that were happening. So this documentary really paints a picture of some of the struggles that were happening in the Bronx leading up to the creation of hip hop. So check it out. It was a really good documentary. I really love this. I did not see this until recently, and it really helped me, kind of understand, how this beautiful art form that we know as hip hop could be born from this type of struggle. Now, the fourth documentary I want to share with you guys is called Rubble Kings, and I really enjoyed this. I did not see this documentary till a couple years ago, but it really helps us paint a picture of what was happening in the Bronx leading up to the creation of hip hop. And again, a lot of us hear this story of, oh, there was violence in the Bronx, or there was, tension. But this documentary specifically shows, what that tension actually was. And for those of you who were not around during the creation of hip hop, including myself, this really helps us kind of paint a picture in our mind what that really was like. And we always hear that hip hop is about peace, love, and unity, but this documentary really shows you what that really means. That's why these documentaries are important, because a lot of times we hear these words, we hear these different slangs, we hear these different sayings, but it's bigger than just the words. It's bigger than just hip hop. So it's really important for you guys to watch these documentaries, even watch it a couple times to really understand and grab hold of, you know, what hip hop truly means. Now, the last documentary I want to share with you guys is a classic. It is called The Freshest Kids. This is a documentary that I watched when I was about like 14 years old, and it really kind of inspired me to learn more, right? It inspired me to meet and have discussions, and actually even just introduced me to a lot of the bigger names in the breaking world. So this documentary gives you a lot of insight about what hip hop is, and specifically on hip hop culture and breaking culture. So check it out. It also has, you know, some of the best dancers in the world. A lot of extremely talented dancers are in this documentary. So in addition to learning, you're also gonna see a lot of really dope dancers. So these are 5 documentaries that I want you guys to use as the start of your learning journey. And I want to leave you guys with a question, right? And before you watch the documentaries, I want you guys to answer the question. You could either write in a comment or you could just think in your head. But think about, what does hip hop mean, right? What does hip hop mean to you? And after you watch these documentaries, after you you know, start to process some of this information, some of these conversations, I want you to ask yourself that same question. Like, what does hip hop really mean? What is hip hop to you? Because to me, there's a much deeper meaning and there's a very powerful message behind it. So again, I want you guys to think about what hip hop means to you and watch all these documentaries and ask yourself that same question. Anyways, hope you guys are all doing well. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Peace.